The Keith Lee effect. Let's check it out.
Imagine you
The Keith Lee, he's already viral. He went like giga extra viral for a restaurant drama that happened in Atlanta. So like everybody was talking about it. I'll let him explain and then I'll articulate my reaction to it. Let's check it out because I don't know much else besides Keith Lee's food reviewer. That is very, very viral on TikTok.
own a restaurant, and the difference between having a line of hungry customers out the door every day or your establishment looking like a ghost town is based on the experience of one man. That one man is not a professional food critic nor a culinary expert, but millions of people around the country treat his word like gospel. That is the Keith Lee effect. Keith Lee is either Batman or Joker when it comes to restaurant owners. But once you hear
It's a good career.
his story, you will understand why he has such a cult-like following. It's much deeper than a guy who has decent taste buds. Keith Lee is a man who failed at the one thing he was actually good at. Then at his darkest moment, he refused to give up and created a meteoric influence in an industry he had no business being in. Keith described himself
So if you don't know, he was the MMA fighter.
as a
He still is. Like, once you become like that experienced, you kind of like keep those skills with you for life.
very small child who felt the need to display his dominance to overcompensate for his short stature. His bad behavior led to him getting expelled from every school in the Detroit, Michigan area before attending a charter school as a last resort, where he barely managed to graduate the 8th grade.
So by the time I got to high school, I was a weed head, smoking every day. I'm talking about bad, like every day. My freshman year, I had a 0.6 GPA.
Things would get even worse for Keith in high school, where he
Jeez, yo. Man, in school they never told us our GPA or anything, at all.
lived in the shadow of his brother. Keith's older brother Kevin had already
Yo, I don't have any Actually, I do have siblings that overachieve, bro. So I know.
garnered a remarkable reputation as a star athlete who graduated with a 3.9 GPA before receiving a scholarship to wrestle for Grand Valley State University, which is an NCAA Division II school. Keith decided to follow in his brother's footsteps for all the wrong reasons.
When I got there, it was more out of spite. It was more out of arrogance. It was more out of just like, now I'm approved to you, I can do it, and I don't even want to do it. I'm going to just do it because you told me I can't do something else. So I'm going to just do it just to shit on you, basically.
Yo, this is footage from a reaction, I think, guy. Everyone? Who's this dude in the corner? Is this reaction footage? I recently had to watch a reaction footage because I couldn't find the original footage. Everyone, I just want to touch on this subject a little bit. Reactions are not doing the best for the channel right now. They're actually doing the worst for my channel right now. I was making more money doing RuneScape. So it feels like I'm making more money for the original, like, work. Because they just watch my content for a little. And then, like, either click off or, like, click to the original content that's in the description. So I think I'm making them more money right now. I don't know.
Yep.
He utilized all his pent-up aggression and transferred it out on the wrestling mat, where he showed a genuine talent for the sport and squashed his competition. But he was a stubborn, disobedient child who didn't focus on his grades, didn't stay disciplined, and quit the team. Then
I was kind of like that, but my venture was video games instead of wrestling.
his father got arrested and imprisoned following a heated altercation with some people in his neighborhood. His father's inability to provide for his family and Keith, his mother, and younger brother were forced to move into an abandoned home where Keith started to question his religious faith and overall perspective on life.
Dang, an abandoned home?
At his lowest moment, the only way he could go was up. He stopped smoking, stopped hanging out with bad influences, and got back into wrestling. Fast forward to his senior year, Keith averaged a 3.6 GPA and was preparing to wrestle at the Michigan High School State Championships, which hadn't been achieved by a student at Southfield High School since the 90s. He received a partial scholarship to wrestle
Yeah, top of his class. top of the wrestling team.
For Indiana Tech, but made a critical error. He never actually enrolled in the school. He showed up at Indiana Tech, connected with the wrestling coach, attended random classes, and got fully immersed into the college life. He was expecting a dorm room since he thought he had a scholarship, but when he showed up to the admissions office, they were confused.
They take me to the office and they like, you don't have no paperwork filled out, sir.
Who are you?
Yeah, they was like, only thing we have is the offer letter that we sent you.
What?
But, oops. I want to tell you everybody a story about how, as soon as I graduated from high school, it felt like I had dreams for a year that I still went to the school. It was very, very unsettling, you know. I don't know. I don't talk about. I don't go to super into depth about my stories because I might be saving it for a book. I don't know.
So we only got your name and your information from the offer letter. They was like, that's all we know about you. We don't know nothing else.
He treated it like a birthday party invitation. You sent me the invitation.
I just showed up.
Keith laughs about the situation now, but at the time, he was devastated. They told Keith if he didn't pay them $20,000 for the semester and $2,000 for the application fee, he wouldn't
What? Man,
be allowed to go to
school is not free. Well, imagine being top of your class and you can't go to the best school because it's not free, but they always have like funding you can get if you really want to go, just loans and stuff. But imagine it wasn't, you didn't have to make, you didn't have to get a loan or anything, you know?
school. Unable to get a loan, Keith had to move back with his family who relocated to Las Vegas. He was now sharing bunk beds with his 14-year-old brother who regularly reminded Keith that he was a loser.
At this point, I'm in the deepest depression I've.
That's one thing that scares me about having siblings. However, my dad gladly takes the role of that older brother, so I don't really miss out on that aspect of it.
Been in a long time.
Dang.
Because I'm like, oh, the reality is sitting in.
Yeah,
He's right.
yeah.
I'm not in school. I don't have a job. I got fired already. I didn't quit a job.
That's how I kind of feel. That's how I kind of feel my job is, yo.
Track history with work is already terrible. I done got kicked out of school.
Yeah.
I don't have no other offers.
Right.
Nothing in life is looking bright to me right now.
Right.
I don't have nothing going for me.
Keith's older brother Kevin had recently secured a contract to fight in the UFC as Kevin the Motown Phenom Lee, and Kevin was a savage. At his peak, he held a 16-2 professional record and was toe-to-toe with legends like Tony Ferguson and Charles Oliveira. Kevin forced Keith to get into the gym with him, and on his first day, their coach Dewey Cooper realized the potential Keith had as an MMA fighter. Desperate
Wrestling to MMA.
for money and a purpose, Keith trained for a year straight and won his first 4 amateur fights. The only 2 losses he had were by split decision, meaning he was a very promising prospect. However, he was earning next to nothing for these, $500, maybe $1,000 per fight. Keep in mind, this was over the course of 3
Dang.
years, so he was
Dang, yo.
broke following a rotation of various low-end jobs.
So I kind of feel like I'm in that limbo phase, fam.
But luckily, he met
I'll try to stop talking about it, but
his girlfriend, now wife, Ronnie, while working for ASICS. Keith credits Ronnie with being the anchor to keeping him grounded and focused on becoming the best version of himself. Following a submission victory against Leonardo Carvalho
oh snap.
at Global Legion
Oh man. It sucks about boxing. You get that loss, it sticks with you forever.
in FC 13, Keith proposed to his girlfriend
But it's also like it in RuneScape. Get a loss on your account, you gotta make a new account. But it's still a permanent loss.
Ronnie and intentionally got her pregnant 2 days later. On the same day of the proposal, Keith's manager informed him that his victory against Carvalho earned him a 6-figure contract with Bellator. He won his very first Bellator bout against Sean Bunch. It took many years, but once he finally had a support system around him, wife, coaches, brother, he was able to crawl out of the repetitive cycle of depression and low ambition.
Oh snap, there you go, there you go.
Now with some free time and spare income, Keith signed up for TikTok. Keith's journey on TikTok started just like anyone else, participating in trends for
Snap, he's 40.
no reason
That's how he's so ahead of everything, yo.
other than it seemed fun. From there, his uploads were just random things that pertained to his everyday
I was about to say, if he got all that done by the time he's my age, yo, it's like, dang.
Everyday life. He was getting maybe 50 views per video, but it seemed more like an outlet for him to have fun rather than...
I know all about that many views for video. Go to my TikTok. I ain't even complaining on TikTok, because TikTok, I am super close to 1,000 followers on TikTok, so I actually get like 200 views per video right currently, but actually, go back like a couple days ago, I was getting 10 views per video. See here, fam.
start a business. But then the pandemic hit, the world shut down, and Keith needed to make something happen.
I downloaded TikTok after I kept saying I wouldn't. Now I'm sick and tired of every video I post only getting 50 views. I'm gonna sit here with my dog and tip me and him get famous.
In an attempt to garner more views, Keith began posting psychology facts videos. He gained a little bit of traction, but it didn't last long. He started to become desperate for virality.
You wanna get famous? Follow these simple instructions. Download another app, cause this ain't the one. This ain't it, Chief. It ain't never gonna happen. Never.
He would
Bro,
Cashapp people if they
I still feel
solved a riddle. He posted math problems for people to solve. Even though he looked defeated, he refused to give up. At this point, Keith was obsessed with the platform, posting daily, if not multiple times per day. He started featuring his wife Ronnie on his page after he went semi-viral talking about building a nursery for their expected baby. He then proceeded to document milestones throughout their pregnancy, many of which received thousands of views and ignited
you could have been a vlog channel still and had the same success.
a dramatic shift in Keith's content. In September of 2020, Keith won his second fight against Vinicius Zani.
Whatever they have in store for me, I'm always here to fight. I'll fight as soon as my daughter's born. My daughter is born in 4 days, so as soon as she gets here, I'm ready to go again.
He didn't lie. Just 1 week later, he and Ronnie welcomed their first child, Carter. From there, Keith's whole TikTok was dedicated to documenting him being a parent. His loving and nurturing attitude towards his child attracted a large following of supporters. He provided them with wholesome moments, such as clipping his daughter's nails for the first time and celebrating her first Halloween.
Yeah, I didn't know he was a vlog.
This
Now he posts a lot of different videos now. One of the only long form poster, like every single video he posts is like pretty long.
was his family man era. Keith took a fight on short notice, just 2 months after his previous, to fight on the main card at Bellator 253. Unfortunately, he lost by decision to Rafa.
And also, when I pulled up my TikTok right there, I don't know why it made me follow some accounts, because I do not follow some of these accounts. Like literally. YouTube has been, I unfollowed those accounts, by the way, like those 2 new accounts that, yeah, that's what my follow list looks like. But yeah, it's been like subscribing me to channels and stuff. I don't know why, on YouTube, and it's been making me follow TikToks and stuff, bro.
On Stotts, but that didn't ruin his spirits. Keith the family man kept posting his terrible dancing videos. Unfortunately, he would hit a new rock bottom when he lost his 6-figure Bellator contract. In August of 2021, he was set to face his toughest opponent yet, who was undefeated.
So Bellator, no UFC? What, wait, is Bellator UFC?
Keith was beaten and bloody and then submitted in just the first round, then got up while unconscious and stumbled headfirst into the cage. The clips of his loss made the rounds on social media. He was embarrassed. He got a call from his manager saying he was cut from Bellator. Keith was back to rock bottom.
Why did they cut him after a fight?
First TikTok back after his loss was him, poetically, ordering some food.
I have these sunglasses on because my eye is black and my face is beat up. I'm fine though, for anybody. Well, I'm not fine, but I'll be fine.
Wow.
He had 1 million followers, but he was only making around $400 per month on TikTok. His fight career was looking grim, and TikTok didn't seem realistic. Then he got a call from the owner of Harold's Chicken just a couple days after his loss. They asked him to do a review
I'd be happy to make $400 per month
of their establishment. At the time, he didn't know it, but Keith just discovered his next big venture.
All right, Harold's Chicken
Bro, I feel like doing something like this.
in Las Vegas. They didn't have no mac and cheese, but it's okay. Overall, I get the food up 9 out of 10.
It's rated 1 through 10.
Without question.
Following his review of Harold's Chicken, Keith made food reviews.
Oh, here we go. Now he started utilizing the zooms. If you don't know, he zooms a lot in his videos, and he has this kind of like gesture.
As a side quest on his page. However, his main focus was on family vlogs and cooking content. He was still largely referred to as the cooking guy, regularly being asked about his cooking content during interviews. In January of 2022, his wife became pregnant with their second child, and they desperately needed to find another source of income. He started doing more and more food reviews, but they weren't that organized, and he was very generous with his ratings.
We are sitting outside of Firehouse Subs because
And that's why we just gotta stick with it. From $400 a month and to how much he's making now. Probably a lot. I think I'm not sure if he posts like his content across all platforms, but if he didn't, I think he'd have a bigger TikTok following.
because today we are doing an official food review. This has the perfect amount of spice. Like my tongue is tingling a little bit. I got that feeling on my lips. You still taste all of the flavor. 10 out of 10.
Keith says he leaned on his faith and prayed something good would come from this TikTok thing, and it did. In June of 2022, he signed a brand deal with Wingstop worth 6 figures, the same amount he had lost from the Bellator contract. He successfully was making a career on TikTok, but it was about to get a whole lot better.
3.2 million. Okay, so he does post. He does post his stuff on YouTube as well. Also, that could be untrue. That you'd have a bigger TikTok following. It could not be. I don't know. Just speculation.
His food reviews slowly started to become his main content because his brutal honesty was very entertaining.
Altogether, this food was $50, and the customer service was terrible. The lady at the front where I was picking up was really rude, like extremely rude. I had to
Bro, usually most of the time he beats more with the customer service than the food.
call back and get her name. I think she lied because she answered the phone like I didn't recognize her voice and said, "Hold on, let me go get the girl. You the girl."
Then in October, the popular YouTube channel People vs. Food approached him to collaborate on their channel, and he accepted. This channel has over 12 million YouTube subscribers, and he knew the exposure would help his TikTok career immensely. By the way, double check if you're subscribed to my channel. I asked my wife what I should post
Alright, I'll subscribe.
on my page to make people not first got like 11 million views. From there, Keith's entire content shifted to strictly food reviews. He has only been doing it full time for 1 year at this point, but he never could have predicted what was about to happen next. While most high-profile food critics only pay attention to high-end restaurants that are too expensive for most, Keith shifted that focus onto affordable, small, family-owned restaurants that were easily accessible to the public, or fast food / popular affordable food chains. He even went out of his way to give a chance to establishments that were struggling financially. However,
Yeah. See that feels like my channel could be like that, but in a way for reactions, yo. So that's why I'm gonna stick with what I'm gonna do. You know, I feel like giving up every day.
Keith doesn't consider himself a food critic. His reviews feel and look like one of your friends giving you a casual breakdown. A typical review would be him.
I personally like. I think his videos. I don't really watch like super long form TikToks unless I just don't in general unless it's something like I'm really interested like. But you know I like watching his videos. But I don't watch the whole video because it's just so long for me. I don't really watch those long videos.
Ordering
But it's cool to see like the stuff he picks up.
3 or 4 different items on the menu, like a family of 4 would, then tasting every single item and rating it from 1 to 10. He often throws in other notes like their customer service or additional information that is relevant to the experience.
I got it. Let's try it and rate
Yeah, those nachos look good though.
it 1 through 10. I spent $23.84 on 3 bao buns and a drink. But bro, that's what they look like. Customer service, delightful. It was a very short interaction, but the guy who worked at the front was really nice. And the actual building itself, very aesthetically pleasing. It made me want to eat. Wait a minute, bro. Personally, it was lacking spice, so the add of the salsa took the tacos
Man, you're getting paid to try all this pretty expensive food. Quite the job, quite the job.
itself from a 9 to a 9.7. That's one of them ones.
Even when he gives a negative review to the food, he will provide more context so it doesn't come off as unfair. He often goes
We gotta find out what his lowest rating is.
out of his way to leave massive tips, sometimes hundreds of dollars, to workers that give him good service. Since he had already built a strong foundation during his family man era,
Snap, I need hundreds of dollars.
there wasn't necessarily one viral review that changed his life. His growth has been steady, and along the journey, his audience latched onto his down-to-earth attitude, unwavering love for his wife and kids, and dedication to God. But even if you don't know about his past, after watching a few videos, you can just feel he is a kind and genuine man. They didn't
Snap, we could have ended the video here, but we still got 10 more minutes.
care about Keith not being technically qualified nor having a depth of culinary knowledge. He thinks what sets him apart is his values. I stand on my integrity, I stand on my values, and I don't allow those to be wavered or to be shook no
We got the highlighted text like Sunny V2 does.
matter the amount of money, the opportunity, or the people I'm surrounded by. With nearly 10 million loyal followers, a full-time dedication to quality reviews of local or less popular restaurants, a phenomenon dubbed the Keith Lee effect would take over Las Vegas, then all over the USA. One of the first beneficiaries of the Keith Lee effect was a local food truck called 303 in the Cut. In November 2022, Keith's review blew up and garnered over 35 million TikTok views since its initial upload. Keith confirmed their cheesecake sandwich was a 10
Yo, it looks really good though.
out of 10, and the next night, 303 had people waiting
Yeah, he's got like a cult following, not gonna lie.
in line for over an hour, wrapped around the corner for their food. The owner said they doubled their income in one day, and it stayed that way for over a year. One Las Vegas pizzeria he reviewed,
Sheesh.
Frankincense, made
Like these guys put like all, they put their life's work into like formulating a recipe and stuff. And yeah, most of these restaurants do taste good if you're a picky eater
headlines
or just don't like the food.
for attracting lines around
Like exotic food or something.
the block because Keith gave their wings a 10, pizza a 9.8, and garlic knots a 9.2. However, it wasn't just the food, it was Keith's interaction with the owner,
Those garlic knots do look fire.
Frank, that made people want to support him even more.
If I don't like the food, I gotta tell you, I'm not trying to be malicious. And he was like, I'm gonna be real with you too. I need help. Yeah, that hit me here. He said the food is delicious. He has great reviews on Yelp. The only bad reviews is that he don't close the time it says that he closed on Google. The time it says he closed on Google is 1 a.m. He was like, I literally can't afford to open that late because we don't get that much business. Frank, if you're watching this, I'm gonna be completely honest. You are an amazing man from what I saw. I appreciated your time and I appreciated your conversation. Let's try this food.
According to Frank, Frankincense had to hire 23 new team members in the 6 weeks following Keith's review and had guests from all over the world patiently waiting for over 3 hours for his pizza.
Jeez.
Frank said he was thankful that Keith helped his business and the overall community at large in Las Vegas. Yasser Zermino, owner of Aroma Latin American Cochina, asked Keith to come review their restaurant through email. Keith gave all 5 different items over a 9, including the Oaxaca sandwich, which he said was the best he had ever had in his life. The
What? Yo.
owner said, we went from not being able to pay the bills to now having to hire people to come and help us. Other Vegas-based businesses that Keith reviewed have seen instant growth, like Caribbean restaurant The Pink Potato, or Southern Taste Seafood, a food truck that went from making $200 or under a day to seeing a 900% increase in revenue.
Rich. Actually rich.
In the days following Keith's review, but his impact wasn't just on small businesses. Even Chipotle, the fast casual chain that generated $8.6 billion in
I want to try them.
revenue in 2022, saw the benefits of the Keith Lee effect. In early 2020,
It's so popular, there should be a Wikipedia term for it or something.
2023, a reviewer named Alexis Frost posted a review of a menu hack, an order of a steak quesadilla with extra cheese and fajita veggies that fans say tastes like a Philly cheesesteak. Keith reviewed it and gave it a 9.8. Then chaos ensued. Chipotle workers all over the country were overwhelmed with the tens of thousands of people coming in to order this hack. One employee said the worst shift of her life was servicing this trend. Another employee said a customer tried to swing on him, aka fight him, because he couldn't make the food. Managers
Jeez, yo.
started posting signs that say, protein
Protein and cheese only on... What?
Protein and cheese on quesadilla only. Chipotle realized the only way to solve this problem was by adding the hack as an option on their menu, dubbed the Keithadilla. Keith quickly became
Are you serious? Dang, he's on the menu now, fam.
well known all over Las Vegas. Once he partnered up with Mr. Beast to give $10,000 to a struggling business, he
You partner with Mr. Beast? What? Okay. That's instant stardom.
couldn't even go outside without being swarmed, so he dressed up in silly disguises to avoid being recognized. But his impact is not
That's one thing that scares me.
just in Vegas.
You could always just wear a mask. That would help a lot, I think.
Keith got to review a local Brooklyn bakery
Oh snap! When cookies are freshly made like that, you know they're gonna taste good.
that he selected while being interviewed on Good Morning America,
Nice, fresh, warm, like cookie.
while also donating $10,000 to that business. He continued to do press runs, being interviewed on talk shows around America, and of course, reviewing food. So now that we know how much positive impact Keith can have on a business when he likes the food, what about when he doesn't like the food? Well, unfortunately, the entire city of Atlanta would find out about the negative side of the Keith Lee effect.
Alright. This is the big story, fam. The big story.
In October 2023, Keith announced to his nearly 15 million TikTok followers that he and his family were traveling to Atlanta, Georgia, and needed some restaurant recommendations. He had previously made videos in Detroit, Chicago, New Orleans.
Might be a little fabricated. No, it's not. I don't think it might not be. I don't think it's fabricated, but it might be a little bit scripted, but might not be. It's just wow. This took the TikTok by storm, yo. I wonder how many followers it gained from it.
New York, and Los Angeles, but Atlanta's food scene is entirely different, which prompted a lot of mixed reviews from Keith. The drama first began when Keith visited the Atlanta Breakfast Club, where he wanted to take the food to go, but they didn't have anywhere to sit and wait for the food. So instead, they decided to dine in, but the restaurant wouldn't allow them to sit down at a table and be served.
Whoa, that's a busy restaurant, though.
Unless the entire party was there. Upon finding out that they were charged $1 for butter at a breakfast place, it was just an annoying cherry on top. Little did Keith know, it was about to get worse. Keith posted his review of The Real Milk and Honey, however, he didn't actually get any food. Firstly, he tried to call ahead and order. They don't accept call-ins. You can only order on the DoorDash app. But DoorDash said that they were closed. So they drove to the establishment in the middle of the day and the employees said they were closed for deep cleaning, while there were customers walking in and picking up orders. Then Keith walked into the restaurant and
Dang. What? That's messed up. Denying service? You ever get denied service at a spot?
they recognized him and immediately attempted to serve him since he is famous, to which he declined. Keith has always been very expressive that he doesn't want
I would be pissed if I was him as well, bro. What you mean, man? That's...
nor deserve special treatment from restaurants. These days, he sends in his friends and family to do orders so he doesn't receive bias from the establishment.
Like, anyone ever get, like, banned from a store or something, bro? It's not fun. Not fun.
He wants his experience to match any ordinary person. I've personally never seen a restaurant have a rules list, but the Real Milk and Honey have a ton.
Oh gosh.
We guarantee great food. Everything else is left to chance.
The viral rules list, fam.
We do not provide individual checks. 18% gratuity added to parties of 5 or more or checks larger than $105. No reservations, unless you're Barack Obama. No parties larger than 4 on days that end.
Yeah. Wonder if Barack Obama actually ate there.
And why? Keith was clearly frustrated that a business would change the rules when it benefits them, but he didn't want people to attack the Real Milk and Honey because he had a bad experience. However, the internet, being the internet, started attacking. There was actually another restaurant called Milk and Honey whose owners were receiving death threats in the DMs because of people confusing them with the other restaurant. But if you had any sympathy for the Real Milk and Honey, it would be gone once you saw their response video they uploaded to TikTok.
Did you see this Keith Lee video about the Real Milk and Honey?
And who is this Keith Lee?
Daddy, you don't know Keith Lee?
Yeah.
No.
The owner tried to look cool and pretend like he didn't know the entirety of social media is destroying his
Dang, yo. Discredited.
business, but it only made people want to support their business less. To add insult to injury, Keith reviewed the bodega.
Was that the inside of the restaurant though? It looked like, didn't even look like, it looked like a high-end restaurant.
positively, which is directly next door to the
Look at all these restaurants, though. They all look pretty good.
Real Milk and Honey, which resulted in a line of customers skipping the Real Milk and
Honey lovers.
Honey to wait in line for the bodega. But the shenanigans continued. Keith reviewed another ATL restaurant called Old Lady Gang, but again, did not get any food. He tried to call their number, no answer. Tried to order on DoorDash, said they were closed. He sent his family into the physical store to do takeout. They said they don't do to-go orders on the weekends, but the wait to dine in was 1.5 hours and they didn't take reservations. Instead of leaving, Keith decided to walk in where he was recognized and immediately they offered him a seat, skipping.
Yeah, that's what they would, I think they would try to do something like that.
The entire
if it's Keith Lee, right?
Hour-and-a-half wait.
But don't you think after the first video, I think the day after he posted, he went to this place. Don't you think they would have known? Like, they would have had heads up. Hey, it's Keith Lee, pretty much like the #1 food reviewer in the USA.
To which Keith denied because he didn't want any celebrity treatment. This is exactly how it is for us regular ATL folks. Imagine them telling you your wait time is 1.5 hours, then someone else comes up and sits immediately. Keith left and visited Toast on Linux, where he didn't plan on doing a review but arrived to a 2.5 hour wait time. When he politely left, the entire staff walked out and offered him a seat immediately, to which he denied again. There were videos that went viral of him in the parking lot seemingly
3 restaurants in a row
arguing with the staff, but he was just letting them know that he didn't want to skip the line. But Keith's experiences are not just unique to him. Cardi B spoke on the subject on an IG Live.
I feel like Atlanta restaurants, they don't like to make money. I feel like they don't like people, they don't like their customers, they just don't fucking like it. First thing first, right? You could barely order in Atlanta restaurants. Like, you go like, hey, I would like to make an order. Oh yeah, we don't take orders. It gets to the point that I literally have to I have to tell like people that order food from me, like, can you just name drop my name? Because first, they don't do no pickup orders, they don't do deliveries, they just don't do shit.
And of course, we got some hilarious memes from this whole
name dropping
situation.
You walk in, let me show you how it's done. Hello, sir, how are you today? May I take your order? You talk like that. We talk like that, because Keith Lee is in town, bro.
That boy Keith Lee in Atlanta now. Hey, y'all little boozy at restaurants, y'all better get on your goddamn Zoom now. Hey, Milk and Honey. See, that was y'all ain't get for giving me attitude when I told y'all my partner was just down the street parking the car.
Although most people were understanding of Keith's frustration with these ATL businesses, others, like ex-football player Chad Ochocinco, thought he was trying to tear down black-owned businesses.
I don't like the critiquing of our restaurants and having people
I remember his clip.
And talking bad about our goddamn businesses and like, dude, you know how hard it is,
and I get it, Ocho,
for us to even get in the food industry. What are the qualifications of being
Cinco
a food critic?
Go to a restaurant and do you like the food? Did you like the customer service? What was it like? Yes. What was the wait time like? That's all you got to do.
At the end,
that means 8 and 5 in Spanish.
End of the day, Keith just gives his honest opinion and experience, but he implores everyone to try for themselves. If he is too positive, his opinion will hold no weight. If he is too negative, he will be seen as destructive. There will always be haters. However, broadcasting his opinion to 14 million followers will, without a doubt, prevent a lot of people from trying a restaurant. If someone I trust says don't go somewhere to eat, I'll probably listen to them. Or if I have one bad experience, I probably won't go there again.
He showed his follow list.
This is why some people argue that you can't have a bad day in the customer service industry. If you can't afford a bad review, then you shouldn't give bad service, especially if you are inviting a food critic to your establishment, which a lot of these restaurants do. Through all the drama, Keith found a lot of gems in Atlanta. The seafood menu, juicy jerk, the dining experience, which he personally tipped the owner $2,000, and Jamaican jerk biz, where the owner broke into tears when he walked in. He asked the owner what her sales were for the day, which was $2,600, and he paid her $3,000 for his meal. However, Keith just announced that he's on his way to Houston to do a food tour, and restaurant owners are trembling. In just 10 months of fame, Keith has helped hundreds of businesses, raised tens of thousands of dollars for charity, and continues to spread love and positivity during a time where we need it the most. Maybe from here he will start a food review show, or a cooking show, or maybe an app for restaurants all around the country that he recommends. As long as he remains the positive and wholesome man social media knows and loves, they will support whatever endeavor he
Well, that's a video, fam.
chooses.
Like, comment, subscribe, check out Patrick CC's in the description. Keith Lee's a genius. He said, "You are a legend." It's actually so impressive how he created this brand. His personality and humbleness makes him even more likable. It's a TikTok dream right there, fam. I'll see you next video.